Hey, welcome back, all you lawn and landscape lovers out there, to a brand new episode of Tommy's Turf Talks. It's August 13th, 2025, which means for us up here in Minnesota, we're getting very close to that perfect grass seeding time of late August through September. So in today's episode, we're going to be going over how to seed your lawn properly. Specifically, we're going to be going over how to do a spot seed. This is what you're going to do if you've got bare areas, dead patches, or dog spots, any kind of small areas of your lawn where there's no grass growing or very little. We're going to teach you how to properly spot seed those areas to give yourself the best chances of getting the highest germination rates and making that new grass seed look beautiful. This is a different method of seeding than you would do with an overseed with an aeration. We're going to be going over an aeration and overseed in another episode that I'm going to do later in September when I aerate and overseed my lawn. But today, let's go over how to properly spot seed your lawn. And if you're loving this content and cannot wait for next week's episode of Tommy's Turf Talks, please make sure you hit that like, share, and follow button so you never miss any new content from Tommy's Turf Talks. Feel free to leave any kind of comments that you may have, questions about your lawn, issues that you may be having, or if you have any suggestions on content that I should do later on down the road. Let's roll that awesome Tommy Turf intro. All right, so the first thing you want to do, the most vital step of seeding your lawn, is choosing the right grass seed. There's tons of different options out there, a lot of different products, but I'm going to let you know and teach you exactly the proper products to buy in order to give you the best luck in trying to seed your lawn. The first thing you want to try to avoid is buying any kind of combo product that's out there. These are going to have fertilizers, fillers, and grass seed inside of them. They seem like a great option because you get everything all in one. They're going to give you the fertilizer that you need to feed your grass seed with. They're going to get you the water retention mulch that's going to help hold moisture down where the grass seed is. And of course, it's going to give you the grass seed. The bad thing about these products is that the majority of the bag that you're buying is going to be filler and fertilizer. There's not a lot of grass seed in there. If you go to your Menards, Home Depots, any big box store, and you take a look at that label, you'll notice that the majority of the poundage inside of that 10, 25, 50 pound bag is going to be filler and fertilizer. Only a small percentage of that is going to be grass seed. You do not want to buy these products. It's not going to be the biggest bang for your buck. Please try to avoid them. The product that you do want to get is any bag that's pure live seed. These are going to come in 10, 25, 50 pound bags. You're going to find them at your big box stores, your garden centers, Site One Landscape Supplies. Any place that's going to sell lawn and landscape material is going to have some sort of 100% pure live seed bag. That's what you want to go with. You're going to buy your water retention mulch and your fertilizer separately. This way you're getting the biggest bang for your buck for your grass seed. Now, how do you choose the right seed for what you want to do? Well, first thing you're going to want to do is look at the label. Every bag of grass seed is going to have a label on it, whether it's going to be a combo product, which again, you want to avoid, or a pure live seed bag. On that label, it's going to tell you a couple different things. It's going to tell you what kind of grass seed is in there and what percentage of the bag is that specific blend. Most bags you buy are going to be a blend of different seeds. You can find in some specialty seed stores one specific blend that's going to be the entire bag. But for the most part, it's going to be a blend. Now, up here in Minnesota and in the upper Midwest, we deal with three primary grass seeds. We deal with Kentucky bluegrass, ryegrass, and fescue. Those are the three that you're going to see on grass seed labels. You will sometimes see an annual ryegrass. You want to try to avoid those bags. An annual ryegrass is going to grow great that first year, but then it's going to die off during the winter and it will not come back. Annual ryegrass is great if you just want a quick grass stand for, say, a graduation party, a birthday party, and don't really care if it's going to survive into the next year. Then it's a good option. But otherwise, you want to try to get perennial seeds perennial Kentucky blue, perennial ryegrass, and perennial fescue. Also on that label, it's going to show you a percentage of what the germination rates are going to be for each of those different strains of grass seed. Now, this percentage that they test is in a lab setting. So you're never going to get exactly that high percentage inside of the normal environment, but the higher that number is, the better. Now, another portion of the grass seed label is going to tell you how much inert matter is in the bag and how much weed and crop seed is in the bag. You want those percentages to be as low as possible. Usually, the weed and crop seed is going to be well under 1% of the grass seed bag, and the inert matter should be extremely low as well. So how can you tell if you have a good grass seed bag? Well, you're going to have high percentages of germination, and you're going to have very, very low percentages of weed, crop seed, and inert matter. So those are the things you want to focus on the grass seed label. At the end of this video, I'll throw up a list of a few grass seed blends that I think are pretty good that you can find at your big box stores and your Site One landscape supplies. All right, so now that you've picked out a quality bag of grass seed, next step is you need to get some fertilizer and something that's going to help hold moisture down where your grass seed's at. This will greatly increase your chances of that grass seed growing well. So for the fertilizer, you're going to want to choose some sort of starter fertilizer. Now, on fertilizer bags, you're going to see three numbers. The first number is going to be your nitrogen. The second number is going to be your phosphorus. And the third number is going to be your potassium. I'll go over all about fertilizers in another episode, but for today, let's just focus on starter fertilizer for grass seed. So for starter fertilizer, you want all three of those numbers to have a value. You want your nitrogen, you want your phosphorus, and you want your potassium. The phosphorus is key when you're trying to grow grass seed because that's a key nutrient that grass seed needs to help it grow well. Now, for the water retention, there's tons of different products out there. You're going to find paper mulches, you're going to find straw products, you're going to find mulch mats. All of them are doing basically the same thing. They're trying to hold moisture down where the seed's at so that you don't have to continually water as much as you normally would without using those products. So we're going to go out front where I got some dog spots for my dog, where he always goes to the bathroom. I'm going to show you step by step exactly how you want to do a spot seed. This will be the same process whether you have small damage or a larger area that you're trying to seed. All right, let's go. Here are the dog spots that we are going to be seeding today. I love my dog. He's a great dog, great with the kids, but man, it is hard to keep grass in peak condition when you got a dog. All right, so as you can see, I've got all the soil nice and loose. You saw me use a shovel and a hard rake. You can use manual tillers. You could use a powered tiller. You could use an aerator if you got a really big area. The way I did it was probably the hardest way. But no matter what you choose, you want to make sure that you loosen up the soil that's there. This is going to help better seed to soil contact and help you get higher germination rates. So, as you saw, next step is you want to put down some fresh dirt. You don't always have to do this, but it does give a little bit better germination rates if you put down some fresh soil before you throw the seed down. All right, so I got my grass seed down. I tend to do it by hand in small areas and just kind of guesstimate the amount of seed that I want to put down. I probably tend to go a little bit heavy on my grass seed, but you could use a hand spreader. If you got a larger area, you can use a push spreader, but that is the next step. Put down your grass seed. All right, now I'm going to mix it up. All right, seed is all mixed up. You can do it by hand like I did, which is usually how I do it when I got small areas. You can drag something behind a lawnmower or a tractor if you have a very large area that you're doing. Or what I use sometimes is the back of a poly rake and just lightly brush it around. I like to use the back of the rake because this tends to not push the seed into piles as much as if you were using the rake normally, like you would with leaves. All right, next up is fertilizer. All right, the fertilizer is down. For this small of area, I could have probably just spread it out by hand. You do want to be careful when you do that, however, and make sure you don't get large clumps in one small area. As you saw today, I used a small little Lesco 5-pound hand spreader. Tends to get messy, gets all over the sidewalk if you're doing it near a sidewalk or driveway, but I'm just gonna go ahead and sweep that into the grass when I'm all done here. And there is the water retention mulch. Again, this is just pulverized paper in pellet form with a tackifier inside of it. As you can see, I might have went a little heavy. You want about 50% coverage when you're dealing with flat ground. You can go much heavier if you got a hill. If you got a very steep hill, I would recommend using one of those straw rolls or mulch mat rolls to try to keep that seed from eroding down the hill as you water it or you get rainfall. But there you are. That is about it. And now we're going to put some water to it and give it its first quick watering, and we'll be all done. All right, as you can see, it's getting nice and watered. And when you're trying to grow grass seed, you want to make sure that it stays moist. So you're going to want to water your seed once, twice, possibly 3 times a day for anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, depending on what the weather's like. If it's hotter and drier out, you're going to want to water it more often. If it's cooler and wetter out, not as often, of course. But the key is to make sure that it stays moist all throughout when it's trying to germinate. Once most of the grass has come up, you can go back to a normal watering cycle, which of course is infrequent and deeply, so you promote deep root growth. Well, there you go. That's a wrap on this week's episode of Tommy's Turf Talks. I hope you all learned some great information on how to properly seed your lawn. Again, if you have any questions that you want to ask me, feel free to leave them down in the comment section. I'd be happy to answer anything you might have. Now, there is one product that I didn't have with me today that is great to put down when you're trying to grow some grass seed, and that's Carbon Pro G. This product has got compost in it, biochar, and humic acid. It's going to increase your germination rates. I'm going to put it down tomorrow after work across the entire lawn. So I'll shoot a little video of me doing that. I'm just going to do it with a spreader, and that should increase the germination rate of the grass seed I put down today. Now, I did do this a little bit early because I was just wanting to get ahead of the fall seeding season for you guys. But as you saw, I do have an irrigation system. So if you have irrigation, you can really seed any time of the year. It is more difficult in the middle of the summer when it's hot and dry. Springtime is a good time to seed. You get small areas, plow damage, dog spots, that sort of thing. But the fall is really the key time to try to grow grass seed. The temperatures are more consistent. You get more consistent rainfall. I've always had much better luck trying to grow grass seed in the fall than I have in the spring. So, like I said, late August all the way through September here in Minnesota, perfect time to try to grow grass seed. I will keep you updated on how this grass seed is grown over the next 6 weeks or so. And hopefully it comes in perfectly. All right, see you guys. Bye.